September 2nd, 2022. Halfcast 343, episode 343. Let's go. Of course, I have a few things to share with you guys. An evening of reflection. Shall we? Man obsessed with mass shootings is arrested for leaving animal corpses on Parkland Memorial. One of the main signs of someone going through the progressions of becoming a serial killer is the killing and torturing of animals. There's more than a few, but that's one of the top ones. Another top one is someone having an affinity for fire, as being a firebug. A man who harbors a disturbing obsession with mass shootings has been arrested for leaving animal corpses on a memorial to the victims of the Parkland massacre. Sidebar, because it's become a sad state of affairs when mass shootings have become so commonplace that people have not only had enough time to develop an interest, but people have had enough time to develop an obsession. Robert Mondragon, a 29-year-old from Broward County, Florida, is accused of dumping a mutilated duck, a dead raccoon, and an opossum corpse on a bench at the MSD Memorial Garden, the memorial site outside Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School, where 17 students and staff were murdered in the 2018 mass shooting. Police said that a crossing guard first found a dead duck with his chest cavity cut open left on the bench back on July 20th. The following day, the same guard then discovered a dead raccoon on the bench. 10 days later, on July 31st, an officer spotted the corpse of an opossum left in the same place. The net closed in on Mr. Mondragon after a man driving a white Nissan with all black rims or tires and no hubcaps was captured on surveillance footage at the memorial site. I guess he wasn't obsessed with being inconspicuous. Investigators said that the footage shows the car driving to the memorial around 11 p.m. on July 30th. There, the man gets out of the car and enters the memorial area, spending a few minutes there before driving away. The following night, a law enforcement officer spotted a vehicle matching that description driving along a nearby road and pulled the car over. Inside, the officer found blood and bird feathers and Mr. Mondragon behind the wheel. Oh, after seeing that, the rest of the conversation would be conducted with my hand on my firearm. Safety off. When asked why he had a dead bird in his car, and as an officer, you have to ask this question, but you also know that the answer is going to be just as sickening as actually finding the dead bird. Mr. Mondragon allegedly told the officer that he likes the metal and blood smell that emit from the dead animal. A search of Mr. Mondragon's phone later uncovered chilling photos of him holding a mutilated dead duck and of a dead raccoon on the floorboard of his vehicle. Investigators said he was arrested and charged with 3 counts of removing or disfiguring a tomb or monument, 5 counts of violating his probation for battery and indecent exposure, and 1 count of violating of a risk protection order. To me, it sounds like even though he hasn't worked up the nerve or he hasn't had a chance to pull off a shooting of his own, bringing the animals to the memorial is his way of sharing in the stigma that comes along with being a mass killer. As weird as it may sound, it's almost like he was using the memorial as some sort of altar. Following his arrest, check under your bed tonight, kids. Following his arrest, Broward Sheriff's Office said that other chilling details have come to light, revealing that Mr. Mondragon has a disturbing fascination with both real and fictional school shooters. Investigators found text messages about school shootings, and his online search history showed he had been researching school shooters, mass shooting pipe bombs, how to break into steel doors, and killing police officers. Then just 2 weeks before the 2021-2022 school year ended, Mr. Mondragon allegedly reconstructed Nicholas Cruz's steps in the aftermath of the shooting After carrying out the massacre, crews blended in among students fleeing the high school and walked to a nearby Walmart. Police said Mr. Mondragon made that same journey like a copycat. Investigators also believe Mr. Mondragon, who has a heavily tattooed face, modeled his tattoo choices on a fictional mass shooter in the series American Horror Story. I guess when you get a tattoo like that all over your face, you made a conscious decision that the house with the picket fence lifestyle is not for you. In a press conference on Friday, Broward Sheriff's Gregory Toney said the investigation shows the suspect has a desire to create an active shooter event in our school system. He fits every classification that it's coming. We've been lucky, and luck is not a strategy, he said, adding that Mr. Mondragon is the most severe individual we've been able to apprehend and take off the streets. Next up, man pleads not criminally responsible in Maryland shooting. Initially, my question was, what's the difference between pleading not guilty and pleading not criminally responsible? Not criminally responsible, NCR, means you committed a crime, but because of your mental disorder, you are not responsible for what you did. You are NCR if your mental disorder stopped you from understanding what you did or the difference between right and wrong. The West Virginia man charged with killing 3 co-workers at a Western Maryland machine shop and then wounding a responding state trooper has pleaded not criminally responsible for mental reasons, according to court records. Of course, both sides, the prosecution and the defense, are going to have their experts come in and evaluate this guy. But to kill 3 people and injure a state trooper and say that you were checked out for the whole thing, it's a bit convenient. It's a bit of a stretch. Hot take, right? I know. Don't take it too serious. I'm not a doctor. Joe Lewis Esquivel, 23, of Hedgesville, West Virginia, is charged with murder, attempted murder, and other offenses in the June 9th shooting at Columbia Machine in Smithsburg and an ensuing shootout with police. Esquivel arrived for his normal shift on June 9th, then shot and killed 3 workers and wounded a 4th. He also shot and wounded a state trooper before he was shot himself. I'm curious to know if this man had any prior history of any lapses or breaks where he suddenly got violent and came back around and didn't realize what he had done. That would make a little bit more sense than just him coming to work one day, randomly killing 3 people and saying he wasn't in the driver's seat for none of it. He was just along for the ride. In a filing last month by his assistant public defender, Esquivel asserted that he lacked the capacity at the time of the shootings to either appreciate the criminality of the alleged conduct or conform that conduct to the requirements of law due to a mental disorder or mental retardation, the Herald Mail reported. Judge Brett Wilson accepted the plea and approved the request of the assistant public defender Brian Hutchison for a bifurcated trial so that the issues of guilt and criminal responsibility could be considered separately. Esquivel continues to be held without bond. Next up, New Jersey attorney charged with stalking after GPS tracking devices found on vehicles. What good is an attorney who doesn't know how to skirt the law? That's what made Better Call Saul so good. A lawyer from Bergen County was arrested last week after investigators said he placed several GPS tracking devices on vehicles as part of an ongoing effort to stalk a man. Brett Halloran, 41, of Wyckoff, was charged with 1 count of 4th-degree stalking and released after a court appearance last Friday, according to Bergen County prosecutor Mark Musella. I don't think it's a good look for a lawyer to have to present his case and then can't even leave the courtroom because now he has to present yours. Musella said the victim reported to police in Haworth on August 23rd that a GPS tracking device had been found on his vehicle, which is primarily used by the man's wife. The prosecutor did not say who found the device. Court records list the offense date as August 1st. The Bergen County Prosecutor's Office Special Investigation Squad was notified, and its investigation revealed that Brett Halloran was responsible for placing 4 GPS tracking devices on vehicles in a repeated and ongoing pattern of stalking against an individual, Musella said in a statement, to at least have defended enough people to know what not to do. According to an affidavit of probable cause, detectives obtained a subpoena for the GPS and discovered Halloran had purchased the device. Oh no. As an attorney, how do you not know that cash is a little bit harder to track than using a debit card or credit card and leaving a paper trail? Judge, I need a new lawyer. The records also revealed that 3 other devices were associated with the account in the name of the defendant. The affidavit states, what did this person do that you're not even trying to cover your tracks? You're openly stalking this person. A review of video surveillance and witness victim statements suggests that Halloran was monitoring one or more of these devices and following individuals. The affidavit states detectives found 2 more GPS devices during a court-ordered search of Halloran's home, and that a co-worker of the attorney's voluntarily turned over a 3rd device. What do you need all these GPS devices for? If you didn't find that person doing whatever you thought they were doing with just one, then 20 of them is not going to help. Detectives wrote in the affidavit that Halloran made statements and admissions that were recorded on police body-worn cameras, and that the person who was allegedly stalked was a stranger to Halloran. I don't think so. He's doing a lot. Halloran was released following a court hearing last Friday, referred questions about his arrest to his attorney, an attorney with an attorney who did not immediately comment. According to Avo.com, Halloran has been licensed to practice law in New Jersey for 16 years and worked most recently as an attorney for a law firm with offices in Roseland and Morristown. So it's clear that he's not a newbie. However, a woman who answered the phone at the Morristown office on Thursday said Halloran is no longer with the company. Goddamn. Fun show. Fun show. Fun show. That being said, I'm going to wrap this one up, but I'll be sure to talk to you guys very, very soon. Adios.